Hi, this is Zach here with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Monday, the 25th of March. Starting off with the FTSE 100, which has retreated from the best levels of last week, but still above the old target, 78.60. Above that, still looking for 80.20, hopefully over the next week or two. But mindful of the fact that 80,000 plus has been the historic peak for this market. If we do break back below 78.60, then the risk is 77.90, but not expecting worse than that now, after the tremendous break higher that we've had and the way the 50 and 200-day lines are both rising at the moment. Moving along to the DAX, and here it's been onwards and upwards, slightly down today, but basically still a steady climb, and 17,900 the old target. Above that, we're looking for the top of that rising trend channel. From October, it's as high as 18,700 by the end of April. The way things are going even sooner than that. If we do break down, the worst on tap is possibly the 17,600 area, i.e. March support. So that seems to be reasonably in order. Moving on to the Dow, and here we have had a little pullback, perhaps quite understandably, from the doors of the 40,000 level, but we're still looking for that red September resistance line, 40,300 or 400 by the end of next month. Best case would be up to the top of that rising October trend channel, 41,280 by the end of April, but that might be pushing it on the downside, hoping that support will remain above 39,000, and if not, the 50-day line currently at 38,600. On to Bitcoin, which seems to have regrouped a bit since its heady push to 73,000 plus earlier this month. We need to break 69,000. That would be a break of the old record high, and then that would hopefully give us 73,000 again during April. Best case scenario by the end of next month, after the halving, would be up to 80,100 at the top of that rising January trend channel. On the downside, it's either 60,000 again or the 50-day line, 59,000, which hopefully would provide support on any dip. Moving on to gold, and here still trying to regroup after that massive spike through 2250 that we had, or towards 2250 that we had last week. Ideally, we stay on the right side of 2150 and then head up to the top of that formation, or at least the July resistance line projection, 2270 now by the end of next month. Moving along to the stocks and sport for choice today, with some couple of decent RNSs, and then at the same time some stocks coming, well, quite a few stocks coming good in terms of their calls. Here we've got Caspian Sunrise gapping through the resistance line there from back in July, and also the 200-day moving average at let's call it 3p. Above 3p, we're looking for 4.5 by the end of next month, and not really expecting this market to go back below 2 3/4 even on a setback. Nice RSI rebound above neutral 50, and the 50-day line already rising as it was before today's decent news. Moving on to Cobra, and this has also done well with the sensational RNS that the company had, using its words, not mine. Here we exactly hit the resistance line target we were looking for the last time we looked at the shares. I don't think many other people would be quite that on the money. If we break through the 1.45 pence level, next level up is 2 pence at an April 2023 resistance line projection. Looking for that to be hit by the end of next month. Ideally, we stay above the 200-day moving average at 1.1 pence. In the meantime, after today's unfilled gap to the upside, the key is holding above that 200-day line. Next up is a stock which has sort of been willing to go higher of late, and here we've got Sizzle within this rising trend channel base in place since last May. It's taken a long time, and it keeps getting sold off near 2.6 pence or 2.7 pence, but hopefully by the end of next month we'll be up at 3.2 pence and snap the pesky seller, which I think has been basically in the stock ever since it came to market around the 9 or 10 pence. So potential change there, especially the 50-day line starts rising properly as well. On to Christy Group, which I don't think anybody looks at, and maybe if you look at the chart you'll see why, but here we've broken above the 50-day line for the first time properly since back in August, looking for the 200-day moving average at 103 pence, while we remain above that 50-day moving average at around 81 pence, which was also the old October low. If that works, it will be quite amazing. Moving on to Cadence, which seems to be getting its act together, if not on a technical basis, maybe on a fundamental basis. Here we bounced off the 50-day line for the second time this month, looking for the a retest of the peak that we had earlier this month, around 6 3/4 pence. Ideally, we're up at 8 pence now by the end of next month, breaking that resistance line there from back in May for the final time, we hope. Moving on to Finu, which has, without any cooling RNS, managed to head higher over the last week or so. In fact, it's managed to escape the clutches of the having to put out a cooling RNS, which is very nice. Here we've got a situation where we've hit the initial target there around 1.4 pence, and we're looking for the second target there around 2.4 pence, hopefully even as soon as the end of this month, i.e. by the end of this week. It'll be interesting to see how the shares cope with the 200-day line where they are at the moment. If we close above that today, I think that would be a very strong sign. If you're a fan of the shares and looking for greater glories, then the big win would be filling the gap up to 6 pence. But I suppose if the shares were anywhere near there, the company really would have to put out a cooling RNS. Upside value while we're above 1.4 pence. On to another stock which seems to be awakening quite nicely. It's GS Technologies. Various attempts at breaking the resistance line there from November. Hopefully this is the one. And at least while we're above 1.1 pence, looking for up to 2 pence by the end of next month, which is obviously a punchy call, but maybe this is the time with the RSI bounce off neutral 50 that the shares finally managed to escape the recent 4 or 5 month consolidation. A stock which I wasn't expecting to look at again is next, and that's Horizonte, but in the interest of technical analysis, it has to be noted that the shares did manage to, or have managed to close that gap down that we had earlier in the month. That was around the 3.6 pence level, and above that, and that broken resistance line from February, there's a possibility, and it's just a possibility, of a move to 6 pence. But gap closes tend to be decent signals, so let's see if the technicals work here. Another stock which has rehabilitated itself with a decent pair of RNSs today is i3 Energy, and here you can see that we're up 8%, and we were looking for this and have been calling it up from the sub 10 pence area, 9.5, 9 3/4. There's also been director buying of late as well at a discrete distance from today's news. The upside here, 12.5 pence, ideally well before the end of next month, and then we can take it from there. Obviously the last peak back in October, 15 pence. Maybe that could be another possible end of April target. Ideally we stay on the right side of the 50-day line at 9.3 pence in the meantime. On to one of another decent RNS situation, which was Incanthera, and here you can see the previous prediction, I think, was to be 16 pence or 17 pence. We can't remember it now, but looks like now we can actually upgrade that to as high as 22 pence by the end of next month. We're trying to be conservative here, we're off to the spike, and that's valid while we hold above recent resistance at 12. So above 12, looking for 22 on Incanthera. We could probably be looking for much more. And if you're a fan of the shares, it would be according to the upper parallel I've just drawn there, which is heading towards, 28p or something like that, 30p in fact. But maybe better not to get too carried away at this stage. On to Immupharma, which has 10% apparently of Incanthera, so that's a nice segue. Here we've hit not only the first target there, 1.6 pence, the second target there around 2.4 pence or 2.45 pence. Above 2.45, we're looking for up to 4 pence by the end of next month, no doubt boosted by the company's stake in Incanthera. And after that great signal that we had there, which was obviously spotted at the time, the bear trap island reversal, so gapping down and then gapping up off a new low, tends to be very good indeed, and it already has been. Moving on to a stock which probably most people didn't expect to go up ever again, which is Feedback, and here I think we've just nudged that resistance line target there, £1.50 intraday. Hopefully we'll go a bit higher than that, but that was our target there. The initial target was around the £1.10, and then above 110 we'll be looking for 150. Now we're looking for 180, hopefully by the end of next month, while we remain above the 140 level. So let's see if feedback can do that over the near term. A stock which I'm very pleased about because I didn't actually spot it myself. Somebody else requested it, but the target there was and still is just over 8 pence, 8.2 pence, let's say. We're looking for that hopefully over the next few sessions while we remain above the old December resistance on the way down. That was 5.6 pence, so about 5.6, 8 pence plus for Genincode. If you're a fan of the stock and looking for greater glory, then that would be up towards 12 pence by the end of next month, which is the upper parallel of that broadening triangle base. Moving on to Kanabo, where there's been a big breakthrough in Germany. Apparently everybody's going to be smoking pot, and here you can see that we've been in this little range between 1.6 pence and 2 pence. A break of 2 pence, which was our initial target there, could take the shares up to 3 pence by the end of next month. But obviously it might be worth waiting for 2 pence to break on an end-of-day close basis. Stuck my neck out over the weekend on weekend markets on Codal, and I was looking for 0.55, whatever happens. So far we've had 0.515, so a little bit short, but hoping that we'll get 0.55 by the end of the week, especially if we can close above the 200-day moving average at 0.47 today or tomorrow. On to the last two. First one is Savannah, and here edging towards the second target there. The first one there was 2.6 pence, and that's obviously been duly achieved. The second one there at 3.85, and we're looking for that over the next few sessions, and maybe much more than that as well. Obviously, through that area, we could be back up to June resistance at around the 5 pence mark. Finishing off, we're with a stock which has done rather well over recent days, hitting that target 3.7 pence, now looking for 5 pence at Zephyr by the end of next month, and just looking for the 200-day line to start curling up, which would mean that we were in the run-up to a golden cross, which would be obviously the strongest part in the cycle, and that would hopefully get us our 5 pence target there. Upside here, value while we're above 3.25 pence, which was the old November resistance. That's it from me today. More updates tomorrow.